Chapter 1. Drop Zone. From orbit, the planet didn't look like a world so much as a crime scene. A jagged scar split its surface in half, like the universe had swung an axe at it eons ago. Storm systems roared along the wound, feeding cyclones that spun endlessly across the fractured crust. On the night side, faint orange cracks glowed through the dark, magma bleeding out into space. Ace pressed his face to the pod's slit of reinforced glass, jaw clenched under his helmet. "Looks broken." He knew it sounded obvious, but his brain couldn't do better. His stomach, already queasy, twisted another notch. Mack's voice came from the seat beside him, muffled by his own visor. "A broken world, lad. Congratulations, you've mastered observation. Next week we'll try counting past 10. Stone didn't look up. He was reviewing the mission brief for the 100th time on his wrist slate, eyes narrowing as though it might change if he stared hard enough. "Focus. We're dropping in under 2 minutes. Run your checks." Ace tore his eyes from the ruined planet. His hands fumbled through the motions, safeties, seals, ammo count. He tried to ignore the rattle in his chest. First combat drop. His instructors back home had called it the flush. Mack had compared it to being hurled down God's bog and hoping you don't block the pipes. Neither metaphor had settled his nerves. The pod's interior lights strobed from amber to red. A klaxon whooped once. Hydraulic clamps disengaged with a teeth-jarring clunk. "Here we go," Mack said, far too cheerfully. The pod kicked free of the mothership. For a moment, there was silence, weightless drifting. Then the thrusters fired, and the planet's gravity reached up and dragged them down. Ace's breath hitched. He tried to make it steady, but the vibration rattled his ribcage like dice in a cup. Stone, strapped in opposite, hadn't shifted an inch. His voice came calm and level, cutting through the thunder of descent. "Remember the mission. This is reconnaissance. We confirm what the aliens are digging for, then we leave. No engagement unless unavoidable." Mack gave a low chuckle. "Aye, that's what they always say. In and out, quiet as ghosts. Then you know what happens? Guns, grenades, screaming. Someone loses a leg, someone else swears it was all according to plan. Seen it a dozen times." Ace shot him a look. "You're not helping." "Wasn't trying to, sunshine." The pod juddered violently as it hit atmosphere. Fire streaked across the view slit, painting the squad in a pulsing orange glow. Metal creaked, harnesses strained, teeth rattled. Ace squeezed his eyes shut. Mack whooped like a lunatic. Stone's face might as well have been carved out of granite. The turbulence built, a violent shaking that threatened to tear the pod apart. For an instant, Ace was sure the harness bolts would fail, and he'd be flung around like a rag doll. Then, with a stomach-wrenching lurch, the descent stabilized. The pod angled into a controlled fall, boosters adjusting for speed. "See?" Mack shouted over the roar. "Smooth as silk!" A bolt sheared off the bulkhead with a deafening bang, clattering to the floor. "Shut it!" Stone growled. Ace swallowed bile and muttered, "This is fine. This is fine. This is fine." The altimeter on his HUD dropped fast. 20,000 feet, 15,000, 10,000. Outside, clouds ripped past in tattered, electrified shreds. For a brief moment, Ace glimpsed the ground. Jagged plains of black stone, riddled with canyons, and the broken spires of a city that didn't look human. 5,000 feet. Thrusters fired again. The pod bucked hard, slowing its murderous plunge. "Brace!" Stone ordered. The impact hit like a titan's fist. The pod slammed into the ground with a deafening crack, bounced, then skidded sideways in a shriek of tortured metal before coming to rest half buried in glassy rubble. Silence. Ace opened his eyes. Everything hurt, but he was alive. His HUD scrolled damage warnings, none fatal. He let out a shaky laugh. "We made it?" Mack unclipped with a grunt. "Unless this is the afterlife, yeah. Bit dusty for heaven, though. Stone was already moving. He hit the release, and the pod's hatch blew open with a thunderous bang. Dust billowed in, choking and acrid. "Helmet sealed," Stone ordered. "Weapons check." Formation on me. Ace stumbled out first, boots crunching on the fractured plane. He blinked against the storm of gray grit, visor filters adjusting. The air was thin, metallic, like breathing through rust. The landscape stretched out before him, jagged ridges of obsidian, shattered towers jutting like broken teeth, and the looming ruin of the alien city ahead. Lightning crawled through the black clouds above, throwing the spires into stark silhouette. Ace's throat went dry. "This place feels wrong." "Good," Mack said, clapping him on the shoulder as he stepped out. "Means your instincts aren't completely rubbish. Keep hold of that feeling. You'll be needing it." Stone followed last, visor scanning, rifle raised. "Eyes open." Comms low. "The enemy's here somewhere. Move out." The three figures cut through the storm, leaving the shattered pod behind as the broken world swallowed them whole.
Now, that is the end for this one. Make sure you come back for more, and like and subscribe. See you soon.